Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It goes up on the iHeartRadio podcasts and anywhere you listen to podcasts around noon. You can always watch it live most times around 10:30 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays that we do it. And also check out our other podcasts like Miguel and Holly Uncensored. You're listening to that one. Miguel and Holly Full Show Podcast, Miguel and Holly Queen City Confessions. We have a whole host of podcasts. Just type in Miguel and Holly wherever you listen.
We're serving up content
all day and all night. We in these streets.
Slanging it.
All right, we're going to get right into it.
I was going to say we got to get to business.
Yeah, we don't have time to banter. So, Worker Stacy!
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, how is everybody?
Wonderful.
Hanging in.
Absolutely. Are you
I'm
ready to
vibey.
go ahead and get started?
Ooh,
Yeah, it's
let's
time.
do this.
Awesome. All right, because we have people on schedule because
I was going to say, everyone's really tight today. Everyone's like, come on.
Timing is very, structured to the way we need it to be anyway.
Absolutely. So let's welcome Mandy to the podcast.
Hey, Mandy.
Hi. So, Mandy, where in Charlotte do you live?
Midland.
You said Midland?
Yeah.
Midland? Is it Midland or Midland? Because I know
I'm actually from Vermont, so I would say Midland, but people here say Midland.
Midland?
Yeah.
That's not right. I'm sorry.
Holly, it's sort of like when we moved here and we had to do a bunch of stuff where it was like, hi, it's Miguel and Holly. We're excited to talk to Cherryville. And they were like, no. Cherryville.
Cherryville. And I'm like, I can't say that. That sounds. But anyway, nonetheless, let's move along.
So here's how this works, Mandy. Holly and I turn our microphones down. It is just you and Stacy chit-chatting, having a session. And so we will be quiet now.
Hi, Mandy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Don't be nervous. Okay. It's seriously, pretend that we are just like talking. But even if we were, you'd still be nervous. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm like an ADHD squirrel on crack. I have no professionalism and I am as transparent as humanly possible. So hello, you get what you get with me. I do work solely and strictly through God. And I'm just going to pull this right out of, let's go. So you have a lot of different things that you're responsible for and a lot of different things that you handle. I keep seeing like glass. I used to say cookie jars for other people, but this is like glass jars that you're very particular about. You have to, and let's pretend these jars are little jars for situations in your life. So work is a jar and family is a jar and social is a jar. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you keep everything very in their own places.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, job, good as anything, successful, not going anywhere unless you choose. Does that make sense to you?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. Because you've been worried about a lot of that right now because there's a lot of influx. You're staying put.
Okay. That's good.
Family. So your grandfather on your dad's side has passed?
Yes.
Okay. Is your dad still here?
He is.
Okay. Because it's this whole thing. They have the same name.
No.
They don't have the same middle name at all?
He never knew him.
Interesting. Somebody in your family on that male side, there's a copy of a name, either a front name. Wow. A regular name goes in for a middle name or whatever, but there is a copy of a name in your family. I'm like going to sit here on that. So hold it for me.
Okay.
So he died before your dad was born, or was it just one of those things that he just was never around? Because there's
not around.
there's a lot of apologies. Okay. You've got to let oh my gosh. Okay. You've got to let your dad know because apparently your dad looks like him, like carbon copy pictures. It's funny as anything. It's also giving you blessings. So sorry for being random and you've been warned. I go all over the place. You're also on a time frame, so I'm trying to be considerate. I can feel you. So literally, it's this whole thing with. Your grandmother passed yet?
Both of them have, yes.
Did your grandfather pass first and then, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Your grandfather passed before your grandmother, didn't he? But you guys didn't really know him, so it really wouldn't matter. But it's like all these apologies, and you have to know they were like soulmates, and they were the kinds of soulmates that weren't supposed to be together. It was a building thing for both of them. If that sounds weird to you, I apologize, but everything is the way it was supposed to be because your grandfather did not think he was going to be a good father, and he had to go. He was not a good man here. His ego was not good here.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
You? Okay. Are you trying to get pregnant?
No.
Okay, you don't want babies right now?
I have 4.
Did you lose a pregnancy if you don't want me asking?
Yeah.
Okay, you just have to know that baby is okay. That baby is with your grandparents and that everything is the way it's supposed to be, okay? Because I was going to say, if you're not pregnant and wanting to get pregnant, I would say you're about to get pregnant because there's just this baby with you. It's like your angel, okay? Your other children are happy, healthy, and wonderful. So it's your son that you worry most about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does he have his father's name?
He does, and
Thank you.
he has a heart condition. He's had 4 cardiac arrests.
And it's almost like his valve isn't working the way it's supposed to. Does that make sense?
Well, he has a thickening of the muscles. So
yeah. You've taken him to multiple different places, haven't you?
He has an internal defibrillator.
Okay. This isn't going to end his life.
Okay.
And he's going to live a very normal life. And also get him checked out for autoimmune stuff.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if that pops up later on.
That would make sense.
I was going to say, it feels like that stuff is attacking his heart because of the thickening. And it's weird. And they're going to tell you, oh, it's bacteria. Oh, I don't know how to explain it. No, it's almost like his body's attacking his heart. But this isn't going to be like it's not going to be the main focus in his life. Does that make sense?
That's good. Because ever since his last one, you know, I've always been like, I just don't see him living a long life, like really worried about him all the time. So it's
hard because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I was pregnant with my 4th, he had I forgot the name of it, but a vascular loop. And he had all of his arteries completely connected in on his heart. And they were telling me, you know, he's not going to survive the pregnancy. So I was terrified to even buy baby clothes. And it's hard because you don't see how in logic sense, you're like, how does this make sense for him to live a long time? He's going to live a long time.
Okay, that's good.
That's one of the reasons. That's the only reason you really wanted to do this today.
No.
Oh, honey, I'm sending you so much love and so many prayers, but he's good. He's strong. He is just like you, though, with his sass. It cracks me up.
He is.
So how old is he now?
9.
I'm telling you, good life. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
We're going to step in real quick. Can I ask real quick, because we sort of follow up on things that, like I said, Stacy goes super fast. Can you tell us a little bit more about your grandfather? Because you said that he wasn't a good person, or that part went really fast. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, Mandy, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so I don't really know much about him. My grandmother moved to Texas with him when she was pregnant. And all I know is that she ended up coming back here because of some things. And my dad didn't know who his dad was for a very long time. He contacted like our state representatives and senators to like help because he was in I believe, the Air Force. And so he tried to find him, and somehow I'm a paralegal criminal justice major, I did all this research, and like a couple years ago, I found my dad's half sister, who knew who her dad was, but he had not been with her mom either, so she didn't really know much, but she knew who he was and she knew his family and all of that. And so she told me like he had been in and out of jail and all this stuff, and just to be careful while I'm searching that I don't talk to the wrong people in that family. And then it just was confirmed when I did 23andMe, and his sister popped up as one of my closest relatives.
Wow. That is just insane how those family secrets from back in the day can manifest themselves into.
Yeah, we just talked about that on the air this week.
I listened. It was so crazy.
Yeah, you're like, been there, girl.
Literally, it made me hop back on my 23andMe that I hadn't been on in like 5 years. So
yeah,
crazy.
Wow. Do you have any more questions for Stacy or anything? I know you got to run.
Just one other. I don't know if you would know anything about this. So randomly, I was at a restaurant. I guess it was last year, and some woman came up to me and said, "I don't normally do this, but there's an older woman with you, and I just wanted to tell you that she's there." And I felt like it was my grandmother.
Yes. She is your guardian. She is like God appointed her to walk with you for the rest of your life.
That is bizarre.
Okay, yeah, and the woman, I didn't know the woman. She just like said, "I have to tell you, and I don't know if you believe in this stuff, but something is making me tell you." And it was weird because a couple days before that, I watched this Netflix special about like life after death, and people were saying like, ask for signs, and that they will give you signs. And so I said, I'm going to ask for the hardest sign. If you are with me, I want you to contact me. Like, don't show me a dime or something. Like, let me know that you're with me. And this woman came up to me. It was like a week later and said, this older woman is with you. And I was like, no way. But ever since then, I've been like, I think she's with me all the time.
She is. And it throws you off when people like that happen to come across you and go, blah. I've done it to multiple people. I've had it done to me. I was in Logan Airport right after my mom died, and my mom's from Boston. I'm flying out to go home from Boston, and some random person stops up me and says, your mom needs you to know you did the right thing by coming here, and everything is good, and you need to know that she's at peace. And I'm like, holy crap. I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing. I'm like, I can't feel you. Show me a sign. And that was my sign. The other sign that you're going to find with her is heart rocks, or literally heart rocks. Like, when you go walking along the riverbank and those flat rocks that you see, start looking for the heart-shaped rocks.
Okay.
Show you her love.
Okay.
Oh, man.
That's all I had.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's so beautiful.
Mandy, thank you so much for letting us be a part of your session. And, we always say on our on-air show, you're in the Miguel and Holly fam. Well, on the podcast, you're now in the Platypus Posse.
That's what we call it.
So whenever you call into the show and you're like, hey, it's Mandy from Midland, Platypus Posse. And we're like, okay, girl, we know you. Mm-hmm. Right. So you're now in the Platypus Posse. So welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Have a good weekend, okay?
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Whoo, girl.
I'm just going to say, I kept feeling that whole copy name thing, and it turned out to be her son.
I was about to say the name thing. Mm-hmm. I was like, somebody, and she's over here not saying it, but then it's like, oh yeah, they did it. It's like the
name. And I'm excited about the next person because there's a very strong female presence. Like literally, if I had to take pics, I would have done this first person because this whole time, nag, like literally trying to buzz at me.
Here.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued to see how this next one goes.
Well, let's welcome Olivia to the podcast.
I'm like almost crying already from what you just said.
Before we hand it over to Stacy, I want to say Olivia reached out. Olivia, when did you start listening to Holly and I?
2008, Panama City Beach. I was 10 years old. My family had just moved there right around the time you guys started. And then you guys have been with me on and off. And I'm 26 now.
Oh,
that is incredible. incredible.
You've been like the third best friend over here.
Yeah.
I feel like it.
Oh,
Yes.
God, but
Wow.
we have been through some shit, Olivia.
I know. I've been with you through the ups and downs. I'm like, man, I'm just on
That
the
is
ride.
Wow.
blowing my mind. Well, it's very nice to have you here.
Yes.
Really
Thank you
special.
so
Thank
much.
you so much, guys.
No, it truly,
Wow.
hey, it's people like you when we are walking in here on days like anybody with any job, and you're like, fuck this job, fuck this place. I don't want to be here. I want
When
to
my
go
alarm
home.
goes off and I have to get out of the bed at dark 30, and I'm like, I swear to God. Sometimes I literally think to myself, I'm like, well, somebody's gonna really have a good day because we do this, and then I get out of bed.
You guys are my comfort people. So yes,
Ah,
absolutely.
thank you, Olivia. All right, well, now we're gonna shut up because you're on a limited time too,
Yep.
and you know the drill. It's just you and Stacy.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Have you and I ever chatted before?
No. I've
feel
been
like I
thinking about it
know
for a
you.
long time. I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I just
Yeah.
finally, I mean, I've been following them and you for years, so it's just
I
finally
just
got
feel like
there.
I know you. I could just sit here with you and go, "Hi, how you doing?" Okay, so you know my spiel. I just know I always call upon God at first, and it's my whole thing of just making sure that we're protected from any kind of darkness. So I always call upon God. And so every session I do is from God. You're always in charge of your own fate. You're always in charge of your own destiny. Okay, so I want to talk about this lovely woman that we have here. So your mom is still here, correct? Because it doesn't feel like a mom energy, but it feels like a very warm. Is it? But immediately I'm like, grandmother. No, you
It's
have
mom, I think. She passed.
no.
Maybe not. Yeah, is it? I don't know. Yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
why
ask.
I was
Do you have a sister as well?
yes, a little sister.
Is she passed or is she still here?
Still here. Mhm.
Okay. That makes more sense to me because it's like she's trying to watch over her sister too. So apparently her sister's going through some stuff as well.
Mhm.
You didn't get to say goodbye to her properly.
Not really. So
It was like I don't know how to explain this, right? But I just keep seeing like loose ends, if that makes any sense. And this overwhelming need to let you know that she heard, or she's a good, okay, like she wants everybody else to be at peace with her being gone. I don't know how else to explain this, but I guess her passing has left a massive hole or like a crater, if that makes any sense,
right.
in the family. And nothing's the same. It's almost like an asteroid hit and like obliterated everything. And she's trying to place everybody together and push everybody together. She wants everybody together. But it feels like everyone's apart. Does that make sense to you at all, Olivia?
Yeah, she's definitely was the glue of our family. So then since she's gone, I feel like I'm trying to hold
You're
everything.
trying to pull together all the baby ducks, basically.
Yeah, like my dad and sister. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got to tell your dad he did the right thing with her. And that I don't know how to explain it, but it's like he didn't. She walks beside him. I guess when he's cooking and when he's in the kitchen, she'll lean on his back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. How did she pass? Because this doesn't make sense to me because I keep seeing her in a hospital bed and I keep seeing people holding on to her, but then she's already gone, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So she had cancer for a year and a half, breast cancer, and was really sick. And then we took her to the hospital that last week because she was having issues with the lungs, like fluid building up in her lungs.
Yeah.
And so she was kind of like in a comatose state for a little bit and then on a ventilator. And then she finally did wake up. And so we got to talk to her. And at that point, she kind of knew that, it was towards time. But then she slipped back into that the night before the morning, like the night before she passed. So like we got to say goodbye, but also not really. So that kind of makes sense from what you said.
Absolutely, 100%. And it's weird because it all happened so fast for you. It's almost like you were expecting her to wake back up.
Yes.
And she keeps apologizing for not waking back up. And it wasn't that she gave up. It was just, she was just so tired. It feels like her it just feels like her kidneys were failing. And no matter what they were doing, they weren't coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Her whole body was basically starting to shut down. Like she was like I'm tired, but I feel okay.
Did
So
the cancer come back twice, or was it in 2 different areas?
It was breast cancer, then it spread just everywhere. So it was,
because it feels like it got into her bones, because it feels like, yes, there was fluid in her lungs, but there's also fluid in her abdomen and in her legs.
yeah,
Okay.
the bones, liver, just like everything.
All of it.
Yeah.
You need to know, though, that your grandparents helped her pass. And there's either like a best friend that she had that's passed, or your father has a sister. There's a woman with her that she's trying to let everybody else know that she's with. So I don't know who this is or what, but it's a really big deal. It feels like a sister or like a cousin, but it's another woman letting you guys need to know that she's okay as well.
It could be her mother, or she has a brother that passed as well.
The brother makes sense to me, because the brother passed quickly, almost as an accident, or like it here today, gone tomorrow wasn't supposed to be what it wasn't supposed to happen.
Right.
Okay. And your health is good. Stop thinking the worst. Did you already get checked?
We found out right before she died that I have the same genetic mutation that predisposes me to all those cancers. So I went to try to get checked, but I'm 26 and they told me to come back at 30. So it's just this 4-year gap that just really stresses me out.
Of course it does. And so I just want to let you know, trust. Everything's okay. I am going to give you mass advice to go ahead and remove whatever you need to remove so that doesn't happen later on. Okay. I know you're already in your headspace about that. I second that feeling for you.
Okay.
We're doing the right thing.
I've had a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say like, oh, that's drastic. Not yet. Right. But like, that's a conversation in 10 years. So that's good to know.
Have your kids do everything you want to do, and then the next steps. But you want to nip it before 40.
Okay.
Yeah. Pinky promise?
Pinky promise.
Okay. Thank you. All right. You're always in charge of your own fate and destiny, but just, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyways, do you have any other questions?
I guess it's just good to know that my mom is with me, because
always she's your BFF, homie. Literally.
I've always been like, she believed in, the great universe, and so do I, but I have never felt her less than since she passed. So it's nice to know that she is with me.
It's hard because your expectation of her is one thing, and her soul, the feeling of her soul, is another thing, and you second guess it sometimes.
Right.
Trust yourself, trust those around you. Your mom's going, trust.
Okay.
And ever since she got sick, it's like you're mad at God. This doesn't make sense to you. She's begging you to understand that this was her story, this was her path, and that she was supposed to only be here for so long.
Yeah. Okay.
She knew she wasn't supposed to live a long time.
It's funny you say that, because she knew that through, like, she would say that to me, like, I just can't see myself past like 55, which is how old she was when she died. Like she knew. She knew. She had feels. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah.
Wow. Also, did you get the tattoo for her?
No, I don't have any tattoos yet.
Okay, that's so interesting. Did her sister or your sister get a tattoo?
Not yet. No, for her sister. My sister, I could see that for sure. I could
totally see your sister doing something like on her wrist.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's small and dainty. I don't know how else to explain it. Please make sure she knows that I meant. Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question? I'm sorry.
Please.
I guess I want to know. My sister, she's a senior in high school, and I feel like almost being 8 years older, especially with my
mom. Her best friend. Don't be her mom.
Okay. Yeah. You can understand the dynamic.
Because, yep. I was going to say my kids are all 7 to 8 years apart, except for the last 2 and the first 2. Don't know how to explain. Oh, no. My 2 oldest girls are 3 years apart. And then my kids go from 7 to 8 years difference all the way down. Be her friend.
Okay. Be
her sister. Don't be her mom, because as you know, losing your mom screws you up.
Yes.
She needs somebody to go, I miss mom. And she's going to look for everything she can to give her that safety net of family and to give her familiar. You need to be that familiar. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Because she just turned 18 and is about to go to college. So I'm trying to figure out that new dynamic going from
Right, because you're like, oh, don't do this, but do that, and and you're trying not to be bossy, but at the same time, you can see the things that she's screwing up with. Let her screw up. Let her be her.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
Olivia, we are giving you the biggest hug right now.
Thank you so much. I'm just so appreciative to be able to talk to you guys. And Stacy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. I'm so glad we could be there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have been with me through it all, as you heard. So I appreciate it.
We're here. If you need anything, you let us know, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Stacy.
Oh, my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys noticed what I did there. Holly, I know you noticed what I did there.
I'm sorry, I had to dissociate a little bit, actually.
Yeah,
I did.
I did too. It was hard. Yeah.
That was a little too for me.
So, you know.
Oh, wait. Tell me what you mean.
Well, I had to tell her not such great news. And everyone's like, oh, will you tell us bad things, or do you only just focus on the good? And I focus on the real. It's going to be what it's going to be. And
well, I'm glad that, to be fair, it is bad news, but she's got time.
Absolutely. And she already knows it. All I'm doing is confirming things that she herself has already felt. And she herself already knows. Because her family has gifts. So.
Wow.
Crazy.
Holly, the dissociation part on you, because I saw that you were like looking down and at your computer, and I was like,
no, sorry.
No, I was just, I figured something. What was going through your mind? Well,
it was just too much. And obviously, like, has nothing to say about Olivia herself. What a beautiful human. The storylines are too similar. Like, we're talking about her mom who had passed, who also had dealt with breast cancer. Like, this is my mom's birthday today. And so I've been having some like mom thoughts, and I started the show this way too, where it's like lately I've been more thinking about my mom in the past of like who she used to be. And I mean, even before she moved in with me when I had Maya, because that's what started like a chain reaction of events that wasn't great for me. And so with her, and I've been thinking about like past mom and feeling a little bit more like I have like a block of ice inside when it comes to her right now. But it's melting a little bit in little ways here and there. And so I got sad about that earlier in the week. But then I still grapple with like anger and almost like feeling like I'm mad, like I shouldn't feel sad. So it's just a weird situation. And so I was wondering, I was like, okay, we got her birthday coming up, and then the day that she had passed, February 1st, I was actually in Charlotte. So it took my mind off of it a lot. So it kind of passed by without me noticing. But like, I don't really have any distractions today. So I was thinking about it. And so then with poor Olivia and her story and her mom, and I don't remember what she said or Stacy, what you said, it triggered me to start thinking about my mom. And I got taken out of the conversation that the two of you were having. And then I just started like having these thoughts and like feelings more so. And I was like, I might have to turn my camera off so that I don't become a distraction, because I'm just hearing things and I'm thinking things. And I was like, I don't want to mess up Olivia. So I considered turning my camera off for a second, but then I didn't also want to cause a scene by doing that. Lord. So anyway, I'm fine. I just had a moment of like one of those waves that pops out.
Absolutely. And that's what we said at the beginning of the show, is that grief hits in different ways, and you never know what's going to trigger it, what's going to send you down that path of thinking, or the path of feeling.
I know.
And you never know.
You don't. And I I looked at my Facebook memories today, because that's mainly what I use Facebook for, that and a couple groups I'm in. But like I looked at Facebook memories today, and like you can see the stark difference of like the year 2017, my post for my mom's birthday was drastically different from the following year's post about my mom's birthday, was drastically different to the next year's post, which included other things that are triggering to me. And then it was like radio silence, as I knew that the downfall had become. And for some reason, while I was listening to Stacy talk about like mom in the hospital, I was just thinking about my mom in the hospital and the video that I have of her like shaking in bed, looking dead. And it was at that point that I was like, I wish someone would have told me that this woman is fucking dying. And it's like the hospital people don't want to. Like they for some reason, they never want to tell you that someone's dying.
Even when my mom was dying, they didn't tell me she was dying.
Right? Like I can kind of understand it from a different perspective, but I would have loved for someone to just be so for real with me and been like, your mom has weeks left, maybe, but no one did. And they were using all these words that I didn't know what they meant. And nobody ever was like, oh yeah, your mom's going to die. Nobody. And so I thought about like what she looked like. And I'm like, I knew, but like I was doubting myself because nobody would agree with me that she was dying or even had dementia at that point. So I was just thinking about all that while this was going on with Olivia. And so I'm so sorry.
No,
sorry.
It was just
You're not a robot. You can't just turn it off.
I tried to, by the way. I was like, the show must go on because that's what we do, right? That's our job.
Right. But you're also a human. And
I did it the best I could.
Sometimes
it's fantastic.
I know. I always think about this woman, reporter on Fox News, who she was reporting from a school shooting. And all of a sudden, like she starts getting teary eyed as she's reporting. And she's like, I'm so sorry. My kid actually goes to the school and I just saw him. And then the kid runs up and hugs her. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And she hugs her kid. And because as broadcasters, we're always like, we're reporting, we're giving you the facts.
We're trained.
And like in the comments, I was like, oh, let me see the comments. And everyone was like, thank you for showing humanity because you're a human and you just saw your fucking kid knowing that they're safe. Of course, any parent or human being would have that like, oh my God, my kid is safe. Thank you, God. Okay, now let me get back to reporting the facts.
Right.
You're allowed to be human.
So
it's hard. Life is hard. And when you deal with that at such a deep level, my mom's anniversary Saturday. So it's like 2 years and I'm going, crap. I'm just like Holly. It's in this, you and I, it's great.
No.
And it's hard because my mom, same thing. Did not know she was dying to the point where she had that heavy breathing last moments kind of thing.
Death rattle.
Yes. The doctor came in himself to put a mask on her and she died while they were trying to put the mask on her for better breathing because they did not know she was dying. Even when it was that time that my brother and I both looked at each other going, because it's me, I knew, and my brother didn't. The nurses had it. They had to go feel her and do the stuff that they need to do to make sure. Then they're like, she's gone. And I'm like, it's crazy, and people don't talk enough about what grief does in that sense of it is a sneak. It does come at you out of nowhere. I talk to clients every day. They're like, I was so okay. And then out of nowhere, even after 15 to 20 years after a close death, it's a thing. So don't beat yourself up. You're good. Yeah. So
anyway,
there's a retrograde coming, y'all. No.
Before we close out, Stacy did text me and say, remind me to talk about the retrograde.
Oh gosh. Usually these are no good, but not really. Sometimes they just mean that we need to take a look at the past.
Stacey,
yeah, sure.
A good one.
With the solar eclipse on top of it. It'll be great.
Oh my God, that. I wish I was still in Cleveland, by the way, because they are in the totality path. Damn. Anyway, let's talk about it.
What's going on? How do we guard ourselves?
Just go into hiding for the next 30 days. It'll be fine. Apparently the entire month of April is full of everything and then some. Like, don't go outside because end of story.
I thought this was Like, I'm having a good year. Generally, like,
That's why you're going to hide inside for the month. Don't talk to nobody. Don't leave your house. You'll be fine.
So what is it? Just like
F
the
you, April. What are we doing?
that's just the retrograde energy that's giving off,
It's
or
just funky. Everyone's super sensitive. You are going to have to deal with your ish. If you're avoiding it, this is going to be that retrograde. So it's going to pull it out. Let's call spring cleaning for a reason. And that's going to be shadow work. It's going to be you hear the normal, don't sign contracts, don't do any of that, don't start new stuff. Okay, don't do any of that. But legit, this is that time of shadow work. This is that time where you're going to have to be made to feel certain things you're trying to avoid. Then you have the solar eclipse and that funky energy. So if you're feeling extra frazzled or exhausted or mentally drained, emotionally drained, you can think the next 2 to 3 weeks of weirdness.
Well, I'm glad to know, because I literally have been feeling that, just like downtrodden and just like, ugh. And then I got on my Peloton bike twice this week, and I'm like, okay, I need to get back to basics. I need to get my ass back into CrossFit. I need to get back on the Peloton, because that sort of helps me feel better in my body and in my mind, my mental space. And so I guess I need to be extra diligent about that in the next few weeks as we're in this retrograde.
And take time for yourself during this retrograde, right? Get rid of things emotionally. This is not the time to go start a new business. This is not the time to, have new ideas. This is not the time to make them happen. Because if you do, it'll be very stressful for them. You know how you guys, every once in a while, you start a project and it's like insane and it just was like, oh my gosh, I should never have done this, and it's falling apart no matter what I do. If you start something right now, between now and I want to say April 16th, April 17th, it's going to be icky. It's just going to fall apart.
Well, lay low, literally just chill, because there's seasons, right? So we're sort of in the dark feminine space.
Correct.
Where now is not the masculine time for planting and doing and the sun. It's the time for the dark and the introspective and the waiting, the womb space.
The womb, exactly. It is that rebirth place. It's spring.
And when does that start?
Oh, well, the retrograde starts, I want to say April 1st.
So at least we got a good week to be outside and in the streets, and then April 1st, take your ass back in the house.
This
take your
is
ass
the
in the
shadow
house.
of it, though. And so if you see things like be a little bit falling apart, it's just because it's the shadow period. So it'll be fine.
Get out in the streets this weekend, y'all. Because then you're going to have to hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hide your wife. Imagine everybody.
Because the retrograde coming up in your bed.
I'm so intrigued. I'm so intrigued by this whole solar eclipse.
Solar. Yeah.
Everyone's like got National Guard is on duty in these places that you're going to, I mean, it's like crazy. Yeah.
I read, though, that it's because, and then maybe this is the story, but I did read that it was because there are so many people traveling to that path of totality that, like, some of these small towns where people are going to post up do not have the capability to handle all the influx of people that want to see the full solar eclipse. So partly it's that, I think, but also who knows?
It'll be fine.
Maybe I'm glad I'm not in the path of. I'm
about to say, girl, I'm gonna sit my ass right down at our place, honey, and just get on my Peloton bike. That's it. Stacy, are you accepting sessions right now?
I am, and on top of that, I have put out there that I am doing animals for sessions as well. I'm working on my animal communications, and so if you have a fur baby that has passed, or you're just intrigued to see what your baby is talking and thinking about, I got you. So, and if you want to book a session with me, hit me up on my website, soulworkerstacyrenee.com, and you can find me on Instagram at soulworkerstacyrenee.
Holly?
Oh, Radio Holly. Everywhere. Instagram, you know the deal. Radio Holly on all the things.
Mine is at Miguel Fuller. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and on Be Real and on Peloton. Just add me, Miguel Fuller. Also, producer Kelvin is out today because he had to go to a wedding. So you can find him everywhere at Kelvin Live. We will see you back here on Monday. Bye.
Miguel Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Girl, I'm going to get my ass out in the streets